Okay, so this is the second video for the trade code explanation. Now this is the order package. Okay, in the previous video I've explained you the trade the trade app. So if you will go to the server, you know, you can see over here we have imported the entity like trade, and we have imported workflow from the order. So over here, like create workflow, yeah, like a lot of things are included. So like we will go to each and every entity maybe. Okay, so let's go. In the entity we have this trade. Okay, so these are like, you know, um, when you have to basically create a trade for maybe a market order or a limit order, you will just initialize an entity. You will pass these particular things, so it will create an object for that particular trade. It will initialize this object and it will set these values so that next time you have to, you know, not query like for each and everything. Then we basically use a transaction because we need to like we have to make surety that the overall transaction is acid. Okay, so as I told you that we need to validate a lot of things. So for that we need to we need to get the previous orders. We need to get like all orders. We need to get open orders. What are the open orders for that particular trade? We also have like two type of trades, like one is normal and second is intraday. So these are also like separate entities. If you have, if you placed a normal trade, and if you have like, you know, open order for a particular script in a normal trade, but you are executing a sell for intraday, these are like two different things. Okay, this will not basically overlap each other, and your open trade for normal will not be sold because of your intraday trade. Okay, so these are like kind of two different environments. So we basically just pass them as params and we just get the orders. Also these functions are self-explanatory. Open orders by script, open orders by script name, pending orders. So these pending orders are like the limit orders which are still not executed. So an order is being created, but like a trade is not created for that particular order. Like I will, you know, basically give you an overview of the database schema that we have for this. So these are like the queries for the trade, and basically the create order function is in this particular trade entity. You can see also we have to create multiple orders in the case of multiple ticks which are reached to a certain price, so that we have to create n number of orders for a particular limit order. Okay, so this function will help to do that. If we have to edit an order for a particular id, like this will help, because you know, the upper hierarchy can update an order for like its clients. Okay, so this will do that. Like they can do like some certain things. This is in the update order. Like yeah, a lot of things are there. Then we can see this order package. Okay, here are the workflows that I have showed you initially. Okay, so this is the create workflow. It There is this init function which will set a lot of things. For example, there are keys. Okay, in a particular workflow, for example, you are placing a market order. Okay, some margin will be holded because of that particular market order, and if you are selling that particular order, then margin should be released. Correct. Same for brokerage. Like each and every time, it doesn't care like which type of order it is. Your brokerage will always be included. Like if it is a buy, they will just charge you some brokerage. If it is a sell, they will also charge you some brokerage. But in the case of certain orders, you do not have, they will be just release of margin, and in certain orders there will be no margin hold. Okay, so there are some keys which we basically set for these type of situations. these are also some different functions. Update Redis, you know, if you have to update some message, this will do that. In the Redis, we set the we set a particular trade, different things. Here the IT is basically the intraday trade, NT is normal trade, IP is the overall price for intraday, IQ is the quantity, NQ is the quantity, IPL is the profit loss for intraday trade, and then NPL is for the normal profit loss. Okay. Then there is this market function, which will basically, just create this market order. Okay. So uh, like while creating a market order, we just also create entries for like the amount that is being deducted. For example, margin is being reduced, we create an entity for that. We charge brokerage, we create an entity for that. We hold margin, we create entity for that. We create a transaction for that. So all these things will happen over here. Okay. You can see this transaction ledger. We just add all these item as names and all. Then we also calculate profit loss accordingly. We create balance, we credit some balance, we debit some balance. You can see debit some balance, and you have some message, brokerage collected for this particular script. If you release some, so you can see like margin release for this particular order. Okay. So also, if you have a parent order, for example, you have a buy order of 10 quantity, there can be like n number of orders for that particular parent order for this for the cell. Okay. So if there is a 10 quantity of open buy order of a X script, there can be n number of orders for cell. Okay. So like someone sell like 2 lots, so in that particular cell order there will be a parent ID which will refer to the main ID of the opposite type of order. Okay. So then you can like have like in the opposite of 10 orders, 10 lots, you can have like 2 to 2 5 type of orders. Okay. So I just explained you this because you will find a key named parent ID in the database. Correct. Then we have this for limit. Okay. So this is also similar. Here we used hashes. We use like different data structures which are available for Redis. So whatever the data structure is, whatever most efficient data structure that we found for a particular type of transaction, we use that. Maybe it is a hash, it's a string, it is a set. Okay. So these are some things that you will find over the entire project that can help you to basically get the logic of the steps that we have followed. Then there is this delete workflow. We basically cancel some pending orders. Okay. And if we have to delete an order, we can do this from this particular, we have this edit. This is the SM square of. SM square of basically means short margin square of. Okay. So if you have an order, but your there is this limit of the margin that you need to have at least this amount of margin in your account. So there are some special accounts which are being created which have this limitation that you need to maintain this particular amount of margin. So in the real time, we also calculate the margin real time, and we also calculate this short margin thing real time. So if a particular amount is hit, and the margin of that particular client goes below that setted amount of margin, we have to cancel a particular order. So, sorry, we have to sell basically a particular type of commodity that the person have, like asset or whatever you want to name it. So we will have to do this from here, SM square of. Okay. So yeah, these are the type of params that we need to pass. This is the specific square of. so it is not related to anything. So a square off can be like user square off, system square off, and SM square off. There can be like different type of square offs. Square off is also like basically creating an opposite type of order. So if you have like 8 orders open for a 10 lot order, and if you want to square off like manually, it will basically create a sell order for 8 quantities of the same script. Okay, so it's the same concept. Okay, so like not many functions, construct order. The second one is just the square of trade. This is just how we exported each and every workflow, and some handlers, brokerage handler, margin handler, these are like specific functions. If you need to calculate a margin for a particular type of order, maybe it is a buy, maybe it is a sell, or is also for brokerage, so it handles all the cases, like you know which whatever client, that whatever client he is, he or she is, and whatever settings are basically set it for this type of calculation in the upper hierarchy. It will get all the data, it will calculate the margin, it will calculate the brokerage, and it will just give you that particular data, so that you can create transactions in the ledger for that particular amount of brokerage, or if you want to hold that particular amount of margin, you can just calculate from these functions, and you can just hold it, which we have seen basically in the create workflow. Okay, so this is the basic okay, you can see like here is the handler, brokerage handler. Here we just initialize the brokerage setting, we got the brokerage setting, then we calculated it. Okay, uh, you can see like if the brokerage type is in lot, we calculate it differently. If it is in crore, we calculate it differently. So there are like some predefined rules which you will find in the docs, how the rules are made, and etc etc. Okay, if you have to debit the brokerage, yeah, you can just call the transaction particular. You can see this ledger entity help it over here. Okay, so that's why I explained you that you can just use one entity in each other. It's basically just creation of an object, and you can do whatever type of function you want to do. Cool. Similarly, credit brokerage or debit brokerage, or whatever you want to do, same is with the margin. Here is this validation file. Okay, so initially I told you about few rules. Okay, so also we can turn off a particular type of trade. This is something that you can do for panel. So it will create a key in the Redis, and we will just get for the key, like if NSE trade is there or not. If it is not, you can see like NSE is closed or M6 is closed, so you can't trade for that particular exchange. Okay, now over here we will see for like a lot of things. Okay, first is the trade level validation. Okay, first of all, you can see if the user type is not client, then we will just throw error that only clients can trade. Okay, if a client is not active, or if an exchange is not active for that particular user, we will just give that error. Script is not activated, we will give that particular error. If the balance is less, we will just say that you don't have the available margin. So yeah, now we have the quantity validation. So in the project setting, you have this particular thing that you can set the overall amount of quantity that you want to allow to a particular user to trade. Okay, so for example, you said like you can just buy 20 lots for NSE. So this particular function will make sure that that particular client can only buy this much amount of a particular exchange. Okay, so if he wants to buy more, it will give the error and will not let him buy. Cool. Now this is the scenario validation, which I basically told you that if you already have uh, these are some scenarios that we need to handle, because we don't want that you can do like whatever you want. We just have to maintain that there are certain rules that you need to follow. For example, if you have a buy order, okay, if you have a buy order of 10 quantity and you are placing a stop loss for 12, we will not allow that. Okay, a stop loss cannot be created for more number of quantities. Okay, so this will make sure that the total that the order that you placed will be allowed or not. Okay, similarly, you can see like the conditions. If there is already a pending order for a stop loss and it have like 5 quantity, then you try to place another stop loss. If the overall sum will be less than the open quantity, it will be allowed, but if it goes beyond that, we will not allow that particular order. Okay, we have this same scenario for buy and sell for each, like intraday and normal type of trade. Cool. You can see the error that you can't buy more. Please check your pending and open orders. Overall, there are like overall 16 scenarios that we handled, right? You can like read them and you won't find any issues because the messages are very clear. Then there is bid stop loss validation. Okay, so this will ensure that the amount of bid that you are placing is not above a certain limit. For example, the current price is 10 rupees and you want to pay, basically place an order for 30 rupees. So this is kind of like not possible thing and very illogical thing. Okay, so the overall high for that particular day is around 15 and the low is around 8. So placing an order for like 30 is basically irrelevant. So we basically do not allow that. Also, this setting can be added by the upper hierarchy, so we will use that particular amount. This can also be in percentage, that you want to allow 5% above the current market price or 5% below the current market price. So this particular function will ensure that for stop loss and like bid. Okay, so yeah, that's all for the validations. I've shown you validations, workflows. This is like this is something that I've already explained. So yeah, see you.